I'm Dr. Kim Martin. I'm a licensed chiropractic physician. I'm also board certified in integrative medicine. I'm certified in acupuncture as well as functional neurology, and I hold another degree in nutrition. Now on this video, I want to discuss thyroid disorders and your adrenal glands. So although small in size, your adrenal glands play an important role in your body, producing numerous hormones that impact our development. They regulate kidney function and our ability to deal with different stress. Because the hormones released from the adrenal glands are so important to the overall functioning of your body, adrenal disorders can have serious consequences on your health. Cortisol is an important hormone which is released by the adrenal gland. This hormone triggers the body to release extra glucose into the bloodstream to increase the energy production to adapt to the demands of the different stresses you're under. For many people, this is a continuous reaction because they are under so much stress that it wears down your adrenal glands. There are many symptoms of adrenal stress, but they can include fatigue, headaches, a weak immune system, allergies, gastric ulcers, feeling bloated, or even blurred vision. Adrenal imbalances are really quite common. Unfortunately, our diets are generally high in carbohydrates, synthetic sweeteners, artificial flavors, and synthetic additives and compounds, such as partially hydrogenated fats. Now, a poor diet such as this is going to place a huge amount of stress on your body. This stress added to the stress of your daily life has created an epidemic of adrenal-related disorders. Because the adrenals have such a big factor on the thyroid, it is no wonder that thyroid problems are so common today. Chronic adrenal stress affects communication between the brain and the hormone glands. It increases the thyroid binding protein activity, preventing the thyroid hormone from getting into the cells. It impedes the production of T4 to T3, causes cells to lose their sensitivity to the thyroid hormone. It also weakens your immune system, the barriers of your digestive tract, lungs, and brain, which weakens your entire immune system. Now, all of the above impacts thyroid function, but chronic adrenal stress affects other body systems too, which in turn slows down the thyroid function. Now let's talk about your adrenals and blood sugar. Now the adrenal hormone cortisol is a very active part in your thyroid health. Cortisol raises blood sugar when it's too low. When this happens over and over again, the adrenals and the thyroid become exhausted. This also affects the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland in the brain. If this continues, it will lead to hypothyroidism. This continued production of cortisol will also weaken your gut, causing inflammation and different infections. So what about adrenals and gut inflammation? When gut inflammation and infection occur, cortisol production is increased to help the body deal with the added stress. This added cortisol has the potential to cause a higher percentage of T4 to be turned into useless forms of inactive T3. And this will cause hypothyroid symptoms, but your blood tests will be normal. Then we also have adrenals and food intolerances. There are many foods which can cause an immune reaction, and the person can be totally unaware of any problem. For instance, you can eat dairy and gluten regularly without any obvious symptoms at all, and not realize what they are doing to your immune system, unless you eliminate them from your diet for a while. Once eliminated temporarily, you might see a big difference in your health because stress put on the immune system due to these food intolerances will create an increase in the inactive form of reverse T3 and will cause weakening of your digestive tract in general. So let's talk about adrenals and progesterone and estrogen. But first let's talk about the progesterone. In the case of chronic stress, cortisol is continually being released into the bloodstream, and this is going to cause the pituitary gland to become overworked. Now, due to continuous release of cortisol, the reproductive system is going to suffer, leading to low progesterone in women and also men. Now, a healthy thyroid relies on appropriate levels of progesterone. Now, the adrenals and estrogen. When there's too much estrogen, this causes an excess of thyroid-binding proteins. Now, these proteins are going to carry thyroid hormones into your bloodstream. Now, this raising of the thyroid-binding protein level prevents thyroid hormones from getting into the cells. So what about adrenals and chronic viruses? A chronic virus is going to cause opening stimulation of your immune system. The pituitary gland reacts and causes the adrenal glands to pump more cortisol into the bloodstream, and that's going to help the body deal with the stress of the virus. Eventually, the adrenals and the pituitary are both exhausted, and this is going to lead to poor thyroid function. Now, your adrenals can affect autoimmune conditions. Autoimmune diseases such as Hashimoto's cause chronic immune stimulation, which causes prolonged cortisol elevation. This in turn makes the immune system more susceptible to autoimmune disorders. Now, we can have adrenal and environmental toxins. Environmental toxins cause immune responses, creating chronic stressors for your immune system and the adrenals, which will eventually affect your thyroid function. As you can see, adrenal health is very important to thyroid health. Many times, chiropractors, nutritionists, or a naturopath will prescribe adrenal supplements, and although these are very important, there are many other factors to be addressed. In the human body, every system affects every other system. Now, here are some conditions that will affect your adrenals. These conditions must be addressed in order to support your adrenals. Otherwise, you will not be able to support your functional hypothyroidism or autoimmune thyroid condition. So let's talk about anemia. Now, this is caused by not enough oxygen getting into your cells. It's going to hamper the metabolic process, including adrenal and thyroid support. You could have unstable blood sugar. Trying to maintain a balance in the blood sugar causes stress on your adrenals. You can have gut functions. This is a chronic stressor that overworks your adrenal gland and your immune function. Or you can have unidentified food intolerances. Even though you may not have noticeable symptoms, every time you eat a food that causes an immune reaction, you are stressing your adrenal glands and not enough essential fatty acids. This is needed for hormone production, including adrenal and thyroid hormones. You can have toxicity. Immune reactions can come about because of environmental compounds, including heavy metals. It could be a mold, or it could be different chemicals. The adrenals cannot function in this situation when it is left unchecked. Now, there is adrenal salivary test index. This, as we call it ASI, is a saliva test for checking the adrenal status, and it tells how a person's adrenals are working throughout the day by measuring adrenal hormone levels. Now, this is an example of a kit. There are 4 tubes, and they are all pre-labeled. The test kit is taken home by the patient, and samples of saliva are collected in the morning, at noon, afternoon, and at bedtime. Now, the way in which cortisol is secreted, you should feel awake and full of energy in the morning and tired and sleepy at night. Now, this is called your circadian rhythm. However, due to prolonged stress, this rhythm is often disrupted, causing insomnia, difficulty staying asleep, waking up tired. Now, the ASI shows abnormalities in this rhythm and charts key hormone levels, and there are 3 different stages of adrenal dysfunction. The adrenal glands adapt to stress, no matter what the cause in one of these different stages. There are alarm. In this stage, the adrenals become hyperactive in order to increase the cortisol levels to meet the demands of whatever your stress is. You can also have resistance. During prolonged stress, the body steals pregnenolone from cortisol to make more cortisol. This is known as pregnenolone steal. Now, pregnenolone helps make sex organs, testosterone and pregnenolone. This can cause PMS, infertility, male menopause, and polycystic ovarian syndrome. Or you can have adrenal exhaustion. This is at the point where the adrenals become completely exhausted and are no longer able to deal with the stress. Since the adrenals are no longer able to produce sufficient cortisol, the pregnenolone steal cycle will end. So let's discuss supporting your adrenal glands for a healthy thyroid function. Adrenal stress and thyroid stress are always secondary to something else. It does not matter whether you are in adrenal exhaustion or your adrenals are overactive. Some fundamental rules can help restore adrenal health. Now, things that you should completely avoid: sugars, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, artificial sweeteners, inadequate sleep. Now, we need to strive for a healthy diet. Do not skip breakfast. Eat high quality protein, especially at breakfast. Eat every 2 to 3 hours. Snack on low glycemic foods, which are foods low in sugar, nuts, seeds, hard-boiled eggs. Avoid all fruit juice and carrot juice. And never eat high glycemic foods or fruit without a source of protein or fat. Exercise of some kind is very important to adrenal health, and any form of exercise that involves endurance, such as walking, slow jogging, or slow cycling, is really healthy. Relaxation techniques reduce our reactions to the stress in our lives, and we can use positive mental imaging, or visualization, as it is sometimes called. This helps discharge the negative emotion that builds stress, and it is very important for you to take time off. Get away from your stress and make time for yourself.